What I do is try to open people's minds and their hearts to the concept that you are faced with choices in every minute of your life. From the moment you get up, what you put on, what you wear, where you go, what you buy, what you say, and you can make a compassionate choice or a cruel choice. We stand for the concept that animals are other individuals like us, like human beings, that they don't need the same rights as we do. They don't need to vote or drive a car, but what they need is the right to be respected and left in peace. They're not cheap handbags and hamburgers and burglar alarms and tools for research. They're not test tubes with whiskers. We should use them as refugees or treat them as refugees who need sanctuary if we take them into our homes, not as accoutrements to our lifestyle. You know, I'm a big macho man, I want a macho dog, and I'm going to do those kinds of things. I think are the wrong way to think about animals. They're not to be chained up in the circus. They're to be left to live their own lives. Well, where do human rights come from? You know, you can say, where do the rights of the comatose come from, or the babies come from? It's the fact that within us we have a sense of moral purpose. And we know innately, most of us, whether something seems right or seems wrong. And we have the rules that we live our lives by, which say, do not do such and such to some individual it may hurt. Do not be disrespectful. And I think that that has to extend beyond those we relate to most, because the true test of compassion is if you can be decent to those you relate to least. I think that personal responsibility is always the key. You can't always expect, government to do something for you or the corporations to do something for you. We're a consumer-based society. So everything that's on the marketplace is because we said we wanted it, or because someone convinced us that we wanted it and it looked shiny and we got it. So we have to be conscientious consumers. We're simply documenting them. We're documentarians of how society is treating animals. And society doesn't want to look because it's uncomfortable. But the thing is, what kind of moral individual are you if you say, I'm not going to look at that because I enjoy doing this thing, whatever it is, so much that I don't want to know? We can't force people. We can't pin open their eyelids and put them in a chair the way they do with animals and force them to watch this footage. So people have to make a decision themselves of if they're strong enough, if they're principled enough, that when they say, do unto others, or they say kindness is a virtue, they really mean it. And if they do, then they owe it to themselves, not to us, to watch this footage and decide if there's something different they should do in their lives. I think the media today is a total mess. I mean, it's all sound bites, it's all sex, it's all confrontation, it's all absurd, phony reality shows. It's very hard to have an intelligent discourse that lasts any amount of time, where someone can actually ask questions, you can answer them, they can ask a follow-up question, you can answer it. You can actually get the brain opening and closing and moving around and digesting this material and dwelling on it. It's all, what can you say in 5 words? How can you sum this up? So at PeTA, we have become gimmicky. We have become sex-obsessed ourselves. We use naked women, we use scantily clothed people. We do whatever we need to do to take this serious message and try to get it into the media mind. And that's very, very hard these days, because the old days of the serious debate, they've gone. In every social movement throughout history, people have broken the law. Some people who have freed the slaves, who got them across the river to Ohio, they were breaking the law. In the women's movement, there have been people who have broken the law. The suffragettes chaining themselves to the gates and the railings outside Parliament to demand the vote. in fur protests. There are people in our movement in animal rights who break the law by going into a laboratory and bringing animals out who are about to be killed or who are being experimented on. It's not really for me to say what is right for an individual to do, because they know in their heart that if it were their child, if it were their husband, if it were their dog, what they would do, how far they would go. My worry is with complacency, human complacency, not with the fact that sometimes when pushed, someone will make the moral decision that there is something more important to do than to stick to the letter of the law. And that can even be you break a window in order to get a dog out who is dying in a hot car in a parking lot. You know, that there are things like that that have to be done. But PeTA, as an organization, must always abide by the law because we're required to. What individuals do, it's in their own conscience, in their own heart. But I will think that there will always be times when the laws should be broken because there's a moral imperative to break a law.